What's up, and welcome to the newly titled Joel and the Boys Basketball Podcast. I'm your host, Marcus Simmons. I'm one of the boys, and my co-host next to me is my brother, Joey Simmons. What's up, man?
What's up? How you doing?
All right, last but not least is the namesake of the podcast, Joel Simmons. How you doing today?
I'm great, man. Absolutely great.
All right, so first off, we're going to start with the Lakers versus the Rockets series, and the Lakers kind of took it to the Rockets, and the Rockets kind of pulled it off towards the end. But what were y'all thoughts overall with the game?
I mean, I thought it was great. You know, that's my team, the Lakers. Shout out to LeBron. Man, I just can't say enough about how this team just adjusts to the different things that the Rockets are doing, and just keep getting better and better. Just when you think they kind of slipping, they just get better. And it looks like they done completely figured the Rockets out, and I think this series is over.
Hey, here's the deal. The Rockets made their bed, and now they got to sleep in it. When you got two monsters out there playing at that post, you got LeBron, and then you got AD. And then your main banger is a guy who's 6'5", and that guy's just worn out. And basically, what it is, that attrition is taking over. I mean, LeBron and AD last night in that last game they played, they did what I've been hollering about all the time. They went to the basket. Who's gonna stop them? You know, when your top defender is 6'5", 6'6" at best.
Yeah.
Then in Houston, they still playing it 7-man rotation like it's college. That's coming back to hurt them big time.
One thing I noticed, like from my notes about the Lakers, they changed their undergarments to purple. I guess it's not a big deal, but I like it. I like a lot of times when the teams go outside their color norms. Like they could have easily just wore black knee pads and all that, and all of them they wore purple. So I kind of enjoyed that, not being a Laker fan, of course. And it seems like also they changed up their lineup. Like they finally come around to putting Marquise Morris in the starting lineup instead of JaVale. And I think JaVale and Dwight, they're done for the series. And even though more than like the way it's looking, the series is over with anyway. So, and they pretty much controlled the game, but towards the end, for whatever reason, the Lakers kind of blew it, and they got close, and they kind of figured out. LeBron kicked it out to Caruso for a three at the end. It kind of pulled them up, and then they got Rondo threw that crazy lob to LeBron. It was kind of dangerous, really. I don't know why they did that, but you know it worked out because LeBron, I guess, you know, he's a supreme athlete, and they brought in that rookie. I think his name is Taylor Horton Tucker.
Yeah.
And what y'all thought about that?
That was good to give him a little look, because you definitely might need him in a series against the Clippers or against the whoever comes out of the East. You got to have all hands on deck. So what better time than throw him out there?
Well, and you know, one thing too. Also, you remember that guy? What's his name? Y'all call him Lil Kobe or whatever it is.
Kobe.
Dion Waiters. I think he's hurt.
Dion Waiters hurt, and then the kid they got from Golden State. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't even think he's dressed out.
So, what's the behind that? I don't understand.
He can't play no defense. Yeah, he can't stay in front of them. He can score, but it's like
he's small too, so hard. We saw what happened last year when he got in the game against Harden and
it's the Raptors. They took advantage of him. Like they just.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the Lakers' idea behind it. Like that, I think that rookie has more size, and you know, and he played well. That's why I was kind of shocked. He gave him a good boost.
I'm always glad to see some young guys that you don't know anything about. You know, a lot of times, I think a lot of teams get to the point where they had players. They don't know what to do with them, and they don't realize that. Those guys on that bench too, for a reason, they practice. You know, this is the kind of coach I would be anyway. I'd give even the worst player 2 minutes, at least. You never know when you're gonna need him for a shot or something.
And just another little note from the game, the Lakers. I noticed a lot of them start going back door. I know Kuzma had a lot of success with that in the last game. But I noticed other players start going back door because they're, the Rockets are pretty much setting up. They worry about LeBron waiting on them. As soon as they turn their head, they must have saw something in film. They cut back door like everybody. Out of bounds plays. They were getting easy layups, and it was just the Rockets just it's like they couldn't adapt to them. So,
well, don't the Rockets have coaches sitting over those other guys with those shirts on? Don't they have to make some adjustments? They can see things. I know the head coach can't see everything, but they got to have some more veterans over there that say, wait a minute, that's too many backdoor plays. I mean, I don't understand that. That's one of my chief beefs about pro basketball on some of these teams. Some of these teams, they just can't adjust. At the beginning before the game starts, we're going to play this way. And if everything's going wrong against your whole strategy, they don't change. They just keep rolling.
I guess that's their philosophy, and I guess that's probably one of the biggest things with the Rockets why they lost. They just towards the end, it was like they just gave up. I guess outside of the fourth quarter, but like all throughout, it just seemed like they lacked energy. Like Harden would get doubled, and he would just take it, then pass it off to somebody, stand there. They get the ball, pass it right back to him. Then he's trying to do a move and shoot a shot. And really, by stat wise, he got to the line like almost 20 times, but he was like 4 of 11, and like that's unacceptable for somebody of that caliber. Like, sometimes you should just force shots. Like him taking a shot is way better than PJ Tucker taking a contested three or Jeff Green or any other players on the Rockets. So he has to do better. What do y'all think the Rockets can do to hopefully stave off the gentleman's sweep?
I think they just gonna have to come out there like they're saying the previous podcast. He got to come out there early and just go for the haymakers. Just not try to go in there and just play them tough and just try to get on them early. Don't give them. Don't let LeBron start hitting fadeaway threes and letting Anthony Davis get in his sweet spot and get PJ Tucker in the foul trouble. You just gotta. And then most of all, man, you can't let Rondo and Pope and all these other dudes score 15 and 20. That's unacceptable, man. You supposed to be one of the top teams in the NBA. You got probably the best two guard in the NBA. You just can't let the boys, the mother boys beside LeBron get off like that, man.
Well, but Houston is missing one of their players also, House, who I think they sent him home from the.
He's out. Yeah, he's done.
He's out. And that has to hurt them a little bit. That gets into their rotation. The rotation wasn't that deep, athletic. It didn't have the quality of depth. And then this guy does something. I don't know whatever he did, but he's gone home now, so they're missing that. And the coach and his man probably already had this rotation thing. And now he's probably sitting up thinking about what he's going to do to slow the Lakers down. But the only thing Houston can do right now to slow the Lakers down is to sneak over there and lock LeBron and AD in their rooms and make sure Rondo and some of these other guys don't play. And then they'll have a shot. But other than that, this is a done. This is a done. You can go ahead and put a cap on this one.
Oh, so y'all got it. It's going to be 4 or 5 gentlemen sweep. That's what y'all calling it.
It's going to be a sweep.
Yeah, because I think after last night they broke their will. You can look on Houston face.
Yeah, and let me tell you something else. Look at Harden. I want y'all to look at Harden. Sometimes let's look at him. Harden look like he's dragging the world around on him. And to me, that should, in his mindset, he should say, okay, well, we tried the small ball stuff, but they got to go get some big bodies. That's just all to it. I mean, that's not gonna cut it. That's a 6'5" power forward. That's not gonna cut it in the NBA.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, but on the positive, I say also Jeff Green, he dunked on Kuzma real bad. It was one of his classic Jeff Green dunks. Like a lot of people, he's not a household name, but if you listen and check out Jeff Green, like YouTube dunks, like he's like seems like top 10 ever, like just making in-game dunks. But well, we're gonna head on down to the next series game that was played today. Clippers and the Nuggets, and that was just inexplicable. Like the Clippers, it seemed like they controlled most of the game, and then the fourth quarter came, and I was researching for this episode. They were up 18, I think, at the end of the third. Mm-hmm. And I swear, I thought I went in here that long typing up the stuff. Then I went and checked something. I went to go get something to eat. I saw it was a 2-point lead, 2-point game. And I was like, what happened? Like, how do you let... You seen what they've done previously to the Jazz. I understand the Jazz are not, they're not a high-powered offense like them, but you can't allow that. Like, you don't know what can happen in the next game. People slip and fall, how people get hurt. Like, this, I don't know how they let the Nuggets win that game. What are y'all thoughts on the game?
Man, it go back to, like, everybody's, like, in love with, like, oh, they got Kawhi, they got PG-13, they got, what's the boy name? Lou Williams. They coming for LeBron. They coming for the title. Yeah, it look good on paper, but when it come down to it in the playoffs, especially in tight games like that, you can't have dudes like, yeah, you can score all them points, but can you defend? And that's what happened. They got down there. It's like they believe they own hype. Like, we the Clippers, we got Kawhi, but at the same time, you got to go out there and play. Like Lou Williams, it was like the guy on Major League. You say you playing, underlay. You just moving out the way. He watching these dudes go to the basket, just shooting or taking him off the dribble. It's like he a turn. It's like he not even out there. And it's like the Clippers. They a good team, but to me, you gotta turn it on. You just can't be we the Clippers on paper. You gotta turn it on the whole game.
They're just sitting back and they're thinking this thing is a done deal. We got it in the bag. But I refer you back to something Kobe Bryant. I was never big. I was a fan of Kobe, but really not a big fan. And but the thing is, Kobe would get in those situations. If he got a team down by about 5 or 6 points, Kobe thought he should have them down by 45, and he went about trying to do it. It seemed like the Clippers don't have I don't know what you call it. They don't have an execution on their team. They can run off some points.
Yeah.
But then sometimes at key points they can't get a good basket. Yeah. And they got a lot. They got some shoot. They got some guys who are offensive natured, but it's not showing up in this game. It was kind of like they took the rest of the night off.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Some of the Clippers possessions towards the end, they were like. Real questionable. Like it was down to 4. Paul George, I think, had the ball. He almost let Jokic steal it from him. He stumbled, got to the paint. Then he shoveled it off to Zubac. Zubac is not out there to complete plays in crunch time.
No.
Yeah.
Kawhi was out on the wing, and then Zubac tries to go up and Porter blocks a shot.
Yeah.
Like all ball. And I was like, why would you even put him in this situation? He's not out there to finish plays in crunch time. That's you, Kawhi, and Lou
Williams.
And then they got it back out, and then Markieff, I think, whatever, the Morris twin, he got it and shot an air ball, missed it by a mile. And Kawhi was just standing there like, what are y'all doing? Because they went up. I think, the Nuggets went up almost by 8 at one point towards the end. And Kawhi started hit 2 threes in a row, got it down to 4, 2 possessions. And then it's like they just went away with them. So I got to kind of put the onus on Doc. Like, I don't know what, like Joe, you was saying, Lou Will getting exposed on defense. I think Landry Shamet should have been out there because obviously Lou, he hasn't really played good in the bubble, as he has, in recent years. And Shamet has size and he can play defense. He wouldn't get exposed like that. Because at that point, it's like, man, you need to get a stop. Like, you trying to trade baskets. It's past that point now. So they in a dog fight. And I think one of the key things that got the Nuggets going was
trash talk.
Marcus Morris and messing around with Millsap. And like, he didn't back down. That's he scored
14 points.
Yeah.
In the third quarter.
And it's like it go back to that thing. It's like they believe in their hype. It's like You don't see like Draymond talks, but they don't. It's like the Clippers get caught up in this, like all that wolfing from the sideline. Patrick Beverly, he's supposed to be an irritant, but like, dog, if y'all getting whooped and y'all not putting it, especially y'all in the third quarter, I can see if it was like 2 minutes left in the game. You in the third quarter and you talking trash, and y'all ain't y'all really supposed to sweep the Nuggets, since y'all so good on paper. So why are you talking? Just go out there and just play,
Well, yeah, but here's the deal too. Now, a young team like Denver, they really probably feel like they're just playing with house money. They said, well, we're not probably gonna win this year, but I mean, they don't give up. I'll give them that. And then they don't. It seems like at times they don't have an answer for Jokic. To me, you got a big guy like that. I'm sorry, if I got two centers over there, I got 12 fouls a year. He gonna have to make a lot of points. When I don't like the idea of him just roaming around too. Like, like, do they realize how much damage this man can do?
And he ain't like, he ain't no stiff. He can pass. Yeah, that's what make him most dangerous.
He's talented, but Doc, and I'll guarantee you this. Doc he's in his hotel room. I mean, his apartment now, in the bubble. Doc done figured it out. He probably done called Kawhi. Kawhi, just go ahead and take it. Whenever we play again, just take it. And quit fooling around. I mean, you want to get this thing over with as quick as possible so you can have an extra day off.
Yeah, because if the Lakers go and finish them off, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to be like trying to play a game 7 with Denver, messing around with them. You supposed to be trying to hurry up and get up, rest, so you can get ready for the Lakers. Yeah,
that's the way. That's the way I look at it as well. They need to try to finish this off because it looks like you're saying the Lakers probably gonna finish out the Rockets tomorrow and finish up their series. So you want to get as much rest as the Lakers get, or just get it done, like to get it over with. Because from the Nuggets standpoint, Jamal Murray finally showed up to the series somewhat, but it took him 25 shots to get 24 points, but sometimes that's what it takes in the playoffs. You don't have to shoot a good percentage. You just need to score the points. And that it was just the fourth quarter. They hit, I think they were like 7 or 9 from 3. And they just kept raining them. And what's his name? Michael Porter, he showed up, I guess, at the very end. The only basket he had, he made a 3. And that put him up by what it was, 5. Yeah, so that he kind of backed up what he was saying, like to a certain extent. And then he had a good block on Zubac towards the end. So, it's gonna be a real series now than what people thought.
Well, yeah. Sure. But I think Doc is gonna just turn them guys loose and go ahead and tell Kawhi to take it, attack. Make him stop him. That's what I would do. I said, okay, you stop him.
So with that, who y'all think? You think the Clippers? So you saying that the Clippers gonna put them away next game?
I look for a blowout. A blowout, yeah.
All right, Joe, what you think? I know you're a Laker fan, but
I like to see the Denver upset them. I think the Kawhi gonna come in like, man, I'm finna go put these dudes away. It's time to move on. They lucky they got that one, so I'm gonna go and put them out of their misery. So I think it's over. It's gonna be a blowout.
Cause I'm gonna tell you something. I look at Doc. Doc's old school. Doc know what they got to do. It's not a mystery. And Jerry West is still on that staff too, isn't he?
Yep,
he's not in the bubble, man. He's too old.
He's not in the bubble, but his philosophy is he know what they have to do. I mean, he helped put that team together. So they got the pieces. They just got to figure out which weapon they're gonna take out of the toolbox tonight. And I think the weapon they're gonna take out, they're gonna ride Kawhi, because that's what they got Kawhi for, to ride. And them kind of game to ride him out. He should have rolled him out of there this night. They should be resting up, preparing for the Lakers.
Yeah, but sometimes that's not the way it goes. So we gonna head on to
That's a
big
great
game
segue.
7. Game 7, Boston versus the Raptors, and it was a hell of a game, man. It was back and forth, but you know, at the end, Boston pulled it off, man. They just total team effort because it was crazy. They had Tatum played pretty well, and Brown, he played pretty well. Kimball was kind of shaky, but he kind of got it together towards the end of the game, and you know, they just figured out a way to win because the Raptors didn't make it easy for them. So what y'all thought about that game 7?
Shoot, man, Celtics, they just it's like they kind of like in this same boat with what I say, probably like the Clippers. Like they good on paper, but they just need to, like, you know, play like they play like they're like, hey, everybody hyping them up and everything. And I think they did that tonight, especially with Marcus Smart. That block at the end, that was perfect. That was a series defining block right there. Because if you'd have missed that, old boy would have scored that. Hey, you know, there's no telling, man. Raptors probably could have took that thing.
Yeah, well, you know, Boston played with just enough what you call desperation. They knew they were in a dogfight. They didn't want to.
That's the word.
You know, they tried to get on top of these guys, and a lot of times when the ball's not dropping, if you can go there and harass these guys while they're trying to run their offense, that's just as good as a floater in the lane. I mean, you put them in a position where they're turning, and you got to remember, Toronto had quite a few turnovers. I mean, it was a slot. It was kind of, they played a sloppy game, but you know, like I said, I mean, you know, Boston, I think they were really the better team. They had some better players, and their guys played big tonight. So, you know, my hat's off to them.
Yeah, it was just like Joey said, that Marcus Smart block. That was, like you said, that was to me when I saw it, I was like, that's an omen. That's it. Like, cause you gotta go back to the last game. There was the same play towards the end where what's his name? He had the ball and he made that layup and got an and one. They put him up by 7, I think, or 5. Yep. And it was on Marcus Smart. So Marcus Smart probably in the back of his mind, like, oh, this not gonna happen again. And he just extended because Marcus Smart, like, he's not he's 6'3", if that. And he went and extended, blocked it with his left hand. Like, that's impressive on a guy that's 6'5". Yeah. So it was just they just fought. And I got to give Coach Brown, not Brad. Brad Stevens. Yeah. I think that's a Celtics. I'm sorry if it's wrong. But he did a good small wrinkle. Tice, he fouled out. Yeah. And so he had to bring in this rookie, Grant Williams from Tennessee. Yeah. He was huge in the end where he got an offensive, I think it was offensive or defensive. He got a pass from Kimber. He went up and tried to score. He got Kyle Lowry fouled out. Mm-hmm. He missed both free throws, but and
they let Jason Tatum crash in there and get the rebound after this guy missed 2 free throws. That's you know some things are just basic basketball when you in elementary school and junior high school, how to box off the guy. I mean, you had the advantage down there. One thing you supposed to cut off anybody from going to that goal. This guy just went straight in like a hot knife going through butter. I said, look at this.
Yeah, and that was pretty much,
that's a wrap.
That was donezo, because that's what a lot of times. I remember Stan Van Gundy, he said things like, I guarantee you most of the time they're not going to block you out in the NBA. And I guess they just gotten away with it for so long. Because if you really just look at the game, nobody outside of probably the centers maybe, they don't really block out unless they pay real attention to details. Like a lot of them, they just jump and go get it. And and fundamentals is what killed the Raptors today. Because another thing that killed them, they had so many turnovers. Like that's pretty much, I think, the reason they lost, and it's just something that's part of the game. But
that's something they can clean up, though. That can be cleaned up. And I tell you something else. They're gonna have to go out and just they need a tune up, not a major overhaul, but they need a couple of items on that team. I don't know exactly what it is.
What are you talking about, the Raptors?
Yeah.
It ain't too much they can.
Yeah.
Because
Siakam get paid.
Siakam got paid this year.
He got paid. Oh, okay. Well, that's...
Kyle Lowry got his the year prior, I think. So...
And Ibaka making some big money, too.
Yeah, I think he's a free agent, I think. And Marcus Gasol probably is, too. And Van Vliet now, I think Van Vliet gone. Like, he got to get his money. Like, he was undrafted. He was on this little small deal, he's from the G League, came to the Raptors, so he got to get his money. So
I have no problem with that, man. So it's business. It's not a game, it's a business.
Yep, at the end of the day. But Tatum, to me, I think he get caught up in I think sometimes he think he a two guard or something. Like, I see, he try to take too many people off the dribble. It's like, man, you can shoot over him, man.
Mm-hmm. You'll learn.
Because he, only, I guess a little caveat for the Boston win, like, Kemba really played bad, I guess, until towards the end. Like, I hope that for their next series, Kemba's got to play a more consistent role where he's, kind of help out with scoring. And also, you gotta give props to Tice. Like, he played really good up till he fouled out and he was blocking shots. I don't remember him doing that none in the regular season. I didn't know he could do that. A lot of times you see him struggle with finishing at the rim, and actually, playing good defense. And also, you gotta look out for Jaylen Brown. Like, it looked like he tweaked his groin at one point towards the fourth. You gotta hope he's not significantly injured, because I don't know when the first game will be. It's got to be probably pretty soon.
I think it's Tuesday.
Yeah, it's probably so. Cause I think they probably need to give them a little rest.
But you know what though? That's we always talk about this, about how a team who is obviously a little bit better, how you need to go ahead and finish these teams off as soon as possible. You think about it. Some of these players you remember, was it a year or so ago, KD got hurt? Yeah. In one of those games, they should have went on blow there. Who was they playing?
It was the Clippers.
It was the Clippers
they were up 30, I think, in game 3 in Golden State, and they let them come back. And that's what I always thought when he got hurt. They should have put them out in 4 or 5, and they ended up going to 6. And that probably put more strain on them, extending minutes, jacking around, and it came back, to get them. And I guess also, kind of going back to the Raptors, it's like Kyle Lowry really, he played kind of solid, but he kind of struggled at certain points. Like, he took a lot of, it was just like weird shots. Like him and Van Vliet, their last possession, it was just him dribbling the ball against that rookie. And the rookie,
he forced him out of it.
Yeah, Grant Williams, he forced a contested shot and he airballed it, and that was pretty much the game. So it's like the Raptors probably gotta, they're probably gonna get better within. Like, Siakam really struggled in this round. Like, he didn't really do nothing, to be honest. Like, I think he may have played better in game 6, I want to say, but he has to get better with his shooting, and I'm pretty sure they're going to probably add some more other pieces, but it's like they just got to, I guess, probably get better within, and they better re-sign Van Vliet if they can. That's probably the number one on their schedule, and kind of go from there, because next year, KD and Kyrie are coming back, so that's going to be a problem in the East for a lot of teams. It's going
to be a big problem. And that's another thing. Some of these teams, this was their year to kind of break through, man. Because I don't want to fool with KD 4 or 5 times a year. I don't want no part of that.
Yeah, because that's what is special with the Bucks and everything like that. And I guess with that, we can kind of look to the future and see about Boston versus Miami. I looked up their season matchups. The Boston is 2-1, and that's what I kind of think Boston has more of an advantage, because Tatum and Brown can get their shots. They can't just they can load up on them, but they are skilled where they can shoot threes, they can shoot the mid range jump, they can get to the basket. Rather, Giannis was just gonna run you over basically. And their team is their bench. They're gonna get Hayward back too as well, so that's gonna be a big help for them. And they're not afraid of the moment. That's why I kind of think this is gonna be a more closer series than the Heat did with the Bucks. It's like the Bucks kind of just I don't know what they just let them run them over like they didn't have any fight in them almost. So they know Marcus Smart and them. It's gonna be a fight this time. Like all that tough talk and outworking people, like that's not gonna get it for you this series. So we gonna see. Like, what y'all think? Who has the advantage in this next in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I say the Celtics because they coming off this big Game 7. They feeling their confidence going up. Then you say Hayward's coming back. And Miami, I always feel like the team has been sitting out for a long time waiting for the other team. They're at a disadvantage. They probably practice and go lift weights and stuff, but still they not in their game, like fresh off a win, and they still in that mindset. So I think Boston gonna jump on them their first game, and then it's gonna be off to the races. But I pick Boston to take them out, and I say in probably 6.
Yeah, I'd take Boston too in about 6 games. And this one for one reason. Jimmy's had a great series so far and everything, but Jimmy can't fight no 2-headed monster and a 3-headed monster. And Boston is geared more to coming in there and defensing these guys, and their coach has enough sense to make in-game adjustments, which I like. And those guys are like they sort of rounded into shape a little bit, And the good thing about this year's playoffs, I'm getting to see some guys that normally I don't think that you would be seeing on during the playoffs. Some of these guys, I don't recognize some of these guys, man. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think like it's from the Heat standpoint, I guess they gonna show that they got Hero coming off the bench, their versatility, see how they can try to, I guess, speed the game up. But Boston, it seems like, can match up pretty well. It's going small as well because they really don't have a center, like a huge center. Tice is like, I think 6'7", if that. Mm-hmm. And Williams, he's tall, but he's really young. He's like 20 years old. He's that guy. He's from, shout out to him. He's from Bossier, like just 2 hours away from us. And and also like Boston, like you said, that coach, he not gonna. It ain't nothing to him to adjust because that was, like we said earlier, that was huge. He put the rookie in crunch time, Game 7. Like that takes a lot of confidence and to do that. So it's gonna be probably a chess match. We're gonna see probably some crazy lineups, and we're gonna try to, hopefully it'll be a good playoff series.
Cause Pat Riley probably gonna stick his nose in every so often. So that ain't working. Why don't you try this? I mean, Pat Riley's one of them old school guys too. So he knows what the deal is, and he'll. I mean, their whole philosophy though, I think Miami feels like they have a as good a shot as anybody, which they do. But I think Boston has just a few more tools in their box to use.
Yeah, because I think they're going to really pay attention to getting out on shooters. Like, probably Boston biggest thing is they're going to try to, cut down on Miami's threes and just lock down defensively, too. Like, their only kind of weakness, I would say, probably is Kemba. But we got to see how they're going to do their lineups. Are they going to put Hayward back into the star lineup, or is he going to come out the bench and Marcus Smart come out the bench? But I think, just from showing, I think Hayward should come out the bench just to give them a boost of scoring.
Yeah.
To help their bench out, because it seemed like they didn't have too much scoring off the bench in this series. Mostly just starters, Tatum and Brown, and Kemba kind of fill in every now and then. But I don't know, man. It probably should be a good matchup.
Well, if it goes 6 games, I mean, I think we've been pretty lucky to get some good basketball. And I think in that final in that championship, the Eastern Conference championship game, I think the intensity is going to be a lot better. I think the game's going to be a lot tighter, and I just think whoever gets out in front, I think Boston's going to try to do that. They're going to try to run them a little bit, but I mean, Miami can run them with the ball too. But I think they're going to try to make Miami have to work for everything that they get, and I think that might be the key thing here. You know,
I think it's any key players to watch out for either team. You think you'll have a good series?
Who's that power forward for Miami? Who's his name?
Bam.
Oh, Bam. I think, I'd be a little worried about him sometimes because he's one of them kind of guys. He'll get them started. The way he plays, he gets everybody else kind of. He's like that extra little jolt of energy, and I think they should be careful about that. Don't let him get started because he's a very good player. I like the way he plays his game.
Yeah, because that's all I want to see in Miami. If Goran Dragic is going to keep up his scoring beans, because he's been playing real well, and I don't know if it was a apparition because of the Bucks. They just I don't know what happened with them. So I think that's going to be something to watch out for. If Dragic is going to continue playing at a high clip, and even their rookie Kendrick Nunn, to see if because I don't think he played really well in that last series, but they got it done. Is he gonna add a little spark to them as well? Because Miami, you gotta worry about their guards. They have Hero against Jimmy. You consider him a guard.
Yeah.
Like I said, Kendrick Nunn, Dragic, the shooter. What's his name? Duncan Robinson.
Yeah, Robinson.
Like him. And so they got enough guards to throw at you, but I guess Boston's saying the same thing. Like, we got our guards too. We'll match up with them as well. So it might come down to the bigs with Crowder and Bam and
I forgot about Crowder.
What's his name? Kelly Olynyk.
Yeah.
Are they going to, the pick and pops? Can Boston kind of match up with that? So it's going to be a pretty good series. So
Mark Smart gonna have his hands full. Trying to go it all loose.
Well, yeah, he gonna be ready. So, is there anything else y'all want to add? I guess that it don't have anything to do with these playoffs. It's about a team that's gone. Like you were talking about earlier. The 76ers and the Bucks should make a trade that would benefit both teams.
Yeah. Tobias Harris and what's the other guy's name?
Middleton.
And Middleton. Just swap those guys because I think they're making pretty close to the same amount of money. And Middleton probably needs. I think he needs a change too. In a lot of ways because I think he's been thrust into being like what you call a number 2 guy. And in reality, he's probably a number 3. And, that will take a lot of pressure off him. Send those guys out. Let Tobias Harris go to Milwaukee. He can shoot. I mean, he has no conscience. He'll shoot.
Yeah, he played with them early in his career too, so he's familiar with the area.
Yeah,
and he can create his own shot. I think that's probably the biggest thing. Like he can shoot. He's not probably a good shooter as Middleton, but they need somebody just like when something breaks down, just go and get a basket.
Go get a basket. And I don't understand. I talk about this a lot about when you're putting a team together. A team, you got to look at the overall plan and say, okay, I need some shooters. I'm gonna need somebody to play some defense. I'm gonna need a rebounder, and then you got to have that intangible, that player who will just run through a wall for you. And I don't think they have that player on their team yet. And that's. I mean, they can talk about all these analytical deals and stuff that they do with these teams, but sometimes you just got to say, okay, go back to when your coach was in the. You had a coach in the 7th grade. Those were the real coaches. They understood what it took to make a team up, And I just don't see it with some of these teams. So some of these teams, like there's no reason to their teams. You know, it's just a mishmash, a collection of talents and guys who fit into the pay schedule that they got.
Yes, we kind of went off a little bit. You know, we just had a good idea to give out to the people about their potential trade, because eventually, once everything's over with, we're gonna have to talk about off-season moves and stuff. So we just kind of got on there earlier.
Jumping the gun.
But with that, you know, this is the end of the podcast. Joel and the Boys Basketball Podcast. Thank you all for listening. If you're out there, we finally got a name to it. And on behalf of myself, Marcus Simmons, my brother Joey, and my dad, Joel Simmons, we'll see you later. Make sure to check us out eventually on SoundCloud. Also, at the moment, we're on YouTube under my YouTube page, Marcus B. Simmons. You can check out our episodes on there. And appreciate you all. Peace.